I'd like to welcome to the stage the director of that fabulous film, Dave Wooley, and Ms. Dionne Warwick. So I didn't know we were doing Uggs, I'm trying to be fancy like you, but well played. Very smart lady.
Thank you.
So that was really an amazing experience. Growing up, my mother, who's here, who's a really great pianist, used to play the Hal David Burt Bacharach songbook, and I used to turn the pages, so I know the words to all your songs. I can't sing, but I know the words. It's an honor to meet you.
Were you reading music with that?
Was I reading music?
Yeah.
I was reading the words.
Okay.
Singing off key.
Before you do anything, first of all, I'd like to say thank you all for showing up. And I certainly do hope that you enjoyed getting to know Dionne Warwick. You're on.
So, well, feeding off what you were just talking about, you've been around for decades, and we know lots of different pieces about you, but we haven't seen them all strung together in a story like that. It was such a beautiful, it's a beautiful story. What made you feel like it was the time to have your story told?
Like most of you, not only here but worldwide, assumptions as to who and what Dionne Warwick is or was. It was about time to let people know the truth. That they don't have to, I thought, is that what happened? Really? Is that? Yeah. You got it straight from me. So now you know.
And so what made you entrust this lovely young man to tell your story?
Lovely? Dave and I have been associated for, about 25 years now. We've been business partners. And he badgered me into writing a book, My Life as I See It, which basically is the genesis for the film. And I call him my roving reporter. You think I'm nosy? You ain't seen nosy. But he, I must say, he did a magnificent job. So there.
How much do I owe you now?
I'll tell you later.
Can we give Miss Dionne Warwick one more big round? This has been a labor of love, and I stand here, but over a 60-year career, there have been many words to try and describe this woman, Dionne Warwick. And for me, it comes down to one word: genius. Do you agree? There we go. David, co-director, there's over 100 people that worked on this. It was a joint effort and a collaborative effort. There are a few people in this house right now that I must acknowledge. Is Kevin here? Kevin Frost? Stand up, please, Kevin. And from Amphar, did you guys see him up here? There it is. Kevin. The CEO of Amphar. Freeman Foundation, are you here? Ginger? Can you stand up, both of you guys? Our executive producers, and played a major role in helping finance this film from Delaware. Thank you. Who else? Our other editors, Stand up. If you've had anything to do with this film, because I know I'm going to miss somebody, please stand up because we're at home. Please stand up. Including my mother who produced me. There we go. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. For me, I get emotional because it was a 5-year journey and it was worth every second of it to see this woman receive these kinds of accolades in her lifetime. Typically, a film like this happens many years. I mean, they're just now doing Arthur Ashes. He passed away in '93. For her to see this in her lifetime was worth every second, and I would do it all over again if I had to. Thank you for coming out and supporting.
I want to acknowledge the presence of the principal of the Dionne Warwick Institute here, Mrs. Passion Assad. And also, with her is her husband, who happens to be superintendent of schools in East Orange. Thank you.
So we know that you're a tough cookie. We see that, we know that. How much input did you have into the making of the film? How much of a collaboration was that?
I had nothing at all to do with it, really, aside from the interviews that I did personally. Everything was done with Dave and Dave.
Have you seen the film prior to today?
No, they wouldn't let me. Yeah, see how mean that is? You tell me. I'm happy they didn't. I was in that Apollo Theater, which you saw, and watched it alone. It was amazing, seeing things that I had truly forgotten. Oh, look, there's someone, recognizing people and places and things. It was wonderful, really wonderful.
I'm sure it's such an impressive slate of participants. You had presidents and everybody, anyone from the president to Snoop Dogg talking about you, which is wonderful. How did you come to get all these people to speak about Ms. Warwick?
Well, I read somewhere that this has to be, once again, Dionne breaking records, has to be the only doc in history that has Snoop Dogg and President Clinton in the same film. Breaking records. For me, I had 30-year entertainment career as a producer, as a promoter, as a musician, which Alvin Fields is in the house. Thank you for giving me that start early in my career. So I had relationships, but what made it enjoyable is everyone I called said when and where. Stevie Wonder, when you need me. Elton John, when you need me. President Clinton, where. And not only did that, they all had, the key to being a leader, and Dionne is a transformational leader, is a good leader doesn't create followers. A good leader creates other good leaders. And that's what this woman does. And she has changed those lives, and she has changed the world in which we lived in. One single woman who happens to be Dionne Warwick.
If you do have the leadership qualities, obviously. If you hadn't been a singer, what might you have done with your life?
I'd be teaching some children, young men and women, something about music. Music education was my major at Howard College of Music in Hartford, Connecticut. Piano my minor. And that was what I was going to do. I was going to teach.
You would have been good at that, obviously. Well, I'm going to eventually open the floor up to questions. If you have a question, think of it, and we'll run a mic by you. In the meantime, I'll ask you another question.
I just want to acknowledge one other person. You watch this, there's a lot of footage, but there's a gentleman by the name of Steve Perry, who happens to be African American, and he was our editor. And then, of course, we had additional editing by Kate Davis, who's in New York as well. Can we give them a round of, because you have no idea. Editing is one of the hardest jobs. Editing and stating jobs, so kudos to them.
Yeah, they did, and there had decades of footage, and some of it was just so fascinating to see. You know, I like where you singing "What I Say," the rear shot of you in the club, really nice. So, with all that footage, what gems didn't make it into the film?
Well, there has to be at least 10 other documentaries in Dionne Warwick, at least. I just had to figure out which one to tell in 95 minutes. So, you know, there's just so much that didn't make it, but what did make it is what we celebrate today. And I think you really get to see the real Dionne Warwick as I have known her for over 25 years.
All right, who wants to start with me? Yeah. She's got a mic.
One of the periods that was left out was your the 70s when you was at Warner Bros. And that label, and then came you, I wrote the Spinners. How did you feel about that 70s period of your music? Because it seemed like a jump from Scepter to our stuff.
Yeah, well, while I was at Warner Brothers, nobody knew it. A well-kept secret. If it had not been for Atlantic Records, you know, that was, Then Came You, was based on their input on that. But there wasn't really that much to bring to the fore during that period of time, unfortunately. Although we were recording and making some really good stuff, Warner just didn't know what to do with Dionne Warwick, that's all. And not only that, no, they didn't. They spelled my name right. I had put an E on it. I had put an E at the end of Warwick. But what happened was that was the period of time also, if you recall, the Director Dave Wooley were no longer existing. We had split. And that, Mo Austin, who was then the president of Warner's, did not know what to do with me. And we had some magnificent producers producing records for me. But that was then, and Clive Davis saw my work.
Well, this is very interesting to watch. I just caught the thing you did with one of the news folks, forgot one of the news programs, a quick interview on TV, I forgot what it was. We were sitting in a theater also, forgot what it was. Anyway, I want, first of all, I interviewed you and Isaac Hayes at the Apollo Theater about 20 years ago.
Did you?
Do you remember in your dressing room, I don't know if you remember, like an hour and a half?
Amanda Woman Show, yes.
Yeah, oh, you remember this, okay. And you both signed my A Man and a Woman on ABC Records. Which is one of my favorite records that you ever did with Ike like that. So, but I actually thought of you a few months ago. I don't know where I saw it, but there was some documentary about Florence Greenberg.
Yeah?
And first of all, I didn't realize her son is paralyzed. So he's sitting there talking about his mom, and he's paralyzed, right? And one of the Shirelles, which you have said to me and others, but not in this film, they were your main. They were it for you. They were everything for you, right?
You're right.
It didn't come up in the film at all, though,
No, it didn't.
which I was waiting to hear about. But one of the ladies from the Shirelles, I don't know if you saw this documentary. It's recent, like within a year. I forgot her name. I should have written it down. I didn't think I'd be talking to you.
Well, it had to be the Shirley or Beverly.
Yeah, well, she was saying how she never got a lot of royalties that were promised that were put away in securities, and you know that Miss Greenberg said it's all put away. Never happened. She never got them. But you have said to me personally and many times that Miss Greenberg was very good to you, meant everything to you. Just wonder if you had any of those experiences as well, or did it all go well for you? You know, with those sort of royalty issues and stuff.
Well, no. How much do you know about the record industry? Not much. You don't know too much. You also saw in the film that my dad was the one who negotiated my contract. I didn't worry about nothing. My daddy wouldn't know. Now, come on, my daddy was 6'6", and did not let you do anything to his daughters or his son. Okay, so Mr. Greenberg tread very lightly. Okay.
Do you have another question?
Hi everyone, my name is Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Thanks everyone for putting this. This is amazing. I'm actually still moved by it. It's so moving. In 1991, I entered the Hart School of Music in Hartford. Yes, and when you walk in, just to the left, there is one of the windows displays, and there's a nice display there. And you're in it. I remember thinking, Dionne Warwick went here. And I didn't know that much, and it just began. However long it was, 30 years ago, a love affair with you and your music. I was like, oh, she's from New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey too, near the Oranges. I thought, oh, this is amazing. And, this isn't really a question, but I just, when...
It's a comment, and I'm taking it.
Good, take it. And one of the, I want to say, the thing, and I'm fortunate enough to work in the music industry here in New York, and I work with a lot of people who come out of the conservatory system. And, it's still the old European tradition is taught in the conservatory system, which is important. But when I watch something like this, and, as Mr. Davis said, just the creme de la creme that we've had here of American artists, this needs to be, you need to be part of the curriculum in the conservatories. If you want to be a musical artist in America, you need to know about you and what you've done in your career and your artistry along the way. That's the next, I think that's your next project. Let's do it.
Does anyone have a question?
This will probably be the last one.
No.
Well, I'm going to ask a question. My name is Natalie Randall. The movie was beautiful. And just seeing all the songs you sang up there, I was just curious, looking back at everything, what was maybe your favorite song to perform, or that really brought a memory back that maybe we don't know about, or just something funny, anything that you watched it and you were like, oh my goodness, something that, maybe we wouldn't know about, or just your favorite song that you love to sing. You sounded beautiful and everything, and it was great to see full performances. I love that you put that in the film. Sometimes they just put little bits, but we got to see so much of you, and I think that's so amazing.
That was the object, to let you get to know me, and I'm very proud of who and what I am. I like me. And there were no secrets, no things that were not, that you did not get to know. And I think, what I wanted you to know. I gotta keep something for me. Yeah.
Okay, we'll do one more.
Talk loud. Okay, you got a mic coming.
Good evening, Ms. Warwick. This is the closest that I've ever come to black royalty. Okay, your story was told, and it was absolutely amazing. And by me being a young man, I've studied you, as I mentioned outside, your entire career and the impact that you had across the pond in the United States. If there's anything that you think you did not do, if you had a chance to do it again, would you? And that's the question. And the comment I would like to say is, me and some of my friends a few weeks ago were going down the list of some great artists. And when your name came up, I yelled out one word: class.
Thank you so very, very much. That's a question I've been asked a couple of times, what's left to do? And I answer it sincerely. Every single thing that occurs in our life, we all say, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Make plans. Well, whenever you make a plan, God laughs. I have resigned myself to the fact that the map and the road that God has prepared for me to follow, that's what's next, whatever that is. So.
There you have it. Thank you all so much for coming. I know we could talk for a long time, but this is the end of our Q&A. Thank you so much.